Hello everyone. Today I first want to show you how far I've gotten with the song here. I've laid down all the guitar tracks except for the lead, and the drums and the bass are down, and then I also have to do a NASA announcer 10, 9, 8, 7 type thing. I might get a megaphone or a walkie-talkie just to get that effect, but I got to do that, and then it should be to the point where vocals, and then I'm probably going to try to do, I don't know if I'm going to do them now or wait and do all the vocals at one time for all the songs, but for now, here's what it sounds like, just a snippet. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. No vocals yet, but trust me, it's going to be a rocker. It's the opening track. It's called Prepare to Launch. Anyhow, I've got a few things to do today. Like today, I tried to save some time. I didn't want to go to Guitar Center, and so I said, oh, I'll just order it on Amazon. There's the same day. And so I ordered it from Amazon. And did it come like every time previous? Did it come in the little Fender baggie? Well, you can see in my hand it didn't. It came in this little baggie. And so I'm like, okay. I'm like, this doesn't give me confidence that it's not authentic. I usually get the Fender ones. And so I go to check it, and it's not a 5-way switch, it's a 3-way switch. So I got to do the returns. I got to take this back to Whole Foods, and they're going to deal with it for me. And yeah, it's kind of like a hassle. Like, I should have just went to Guitar Center on Saturday like I planned, and then I should have just did it then, but I'm like, oh, same day. Then it didn't come same day, it came the next day, and then it was the wrong part, and here it is Monday, and yeah, I'm still like not started. I try to avoid ordering on Amazon if it's something I can't get around here, and yeah, my laziness has paid off, and now I have to do even more work. Instead of just going to Guitar Center, I got to go to Whole Foods and return it. Anyway, enough of that. I wanted to talk to you this week. I had this idea about, there's gear acquisition syndrome, which a lot of people call G.A.S. And you never think about the expanded cost. I always try to think of like, it's not like friendly fire. It's not like gas friendly fire. It's like gas collateral damage or something like that. Like, cause it's like, okay, well, I need to get strap locks for it. I need to get a strap for it. Those are obvious. And then you go into, well, I need a case for it, right? Like, if I hadn't have got the Les Paul and I would have gotten the green 335, I don't have a case for a hollow body or a semi-hollow body. So I'd have to order one, and that's like $150. I was actually shopping and looking. That's like a Reunion Blues, I think, had a nice one I was looking at. And then I'm like going, oh, well, the pickguard's black and the pickup rings are black. And so I should turn those to cream to match the binding, and it'll look really cool with the cream aesthetics with the green. And this guitar, which was on sale from $600 to $450, would now cost me like well more than if I would have bought it new. And you're thinking you're going in there and getting a deal, and you're thinking, oh, it's only going to cost this much, and it ends up costing like a lot more. And right now it's kind of happening with the Les Paul, because I have it in that little cheap gig bag. I got a cheap gig bag because I'm like, it's just going to sit in the closet until it's time to record, and it just needs to keep the dust off of it. It's just a thin gig bag. But then when I'm holding the guitar in the gig bag's bent like this because the headstock, and I'm like, dude, if I accidentally do anything, it's just gonna land on the headstock. Because when you have it laying flat on the ground, the back of the guitar that's on the neck side doesn't touch the ground, because it's touching at the headstock and it's touching at the butt end of the guitar. And it's just kind of like, oh my goodness. So now I'm like, well, I can stick it in my mono case, but then I have to take the baritone out of there, and I got to order a baritone gig bag. So that's gonna probably, I think Gretsch sells one that's like $50. So yeah, the whole gear acquisition syndrome, collateral damage, I don't know, maybe if you guys watching can think of a better name for it, but there's always like this collateral money you have to, like, you know, strap locks if you're going to play live. I don't plan on using it live, but I just like to have strap locks because I'm clumsy. And you know, if you don't have a gig bag for it, which right now my gig bag is very insufficient, you need to buy a gig bag or a case. And yeah, it's just, you got to think about those things when you buy a guitar. So I've been really jonesing for an AC30. I especially want to compare it to the Quilter. Like, I compared the Quilter in a previous video to the Tech 21 Liverpool, but I want to really hear how it sounds against a real AC30, and I've had AC30s before, and that's why I have the Quilter, and I want to see how it compares. And so I've been jonesing for an AC30, and so I've been checking prices. For a tip for you guys, if you're looking for gear, you just troll those used pages at Guitar Center, and you'll be surprised. Like, that's where I got my Les Paul. You'll be surprised at some of the stuff where it's like, wow. Like, I saw an AC30 CC2, which I used to own one of those. That was the first AC30 they started making in China. Had a tube rectifier and everything, and it was $400. And I'm just like, oh man, it was a little beat up on the Tolex, but like, it said it was working order. I mean, you could always send it back. Now I spy another one that's a little bit more, but I might think about grabbing. But like, yeah, the whole thing is though, is like, okay, it's got tubes in it that are, you don't know how old the tubes are in it or how good they are. So the first thing you're going to want to do is replace all the tubes. That's like, what, a couple $100? Then you go, okay, well, depending on how the caps are, it's what, the amp's getting close to 20 years old. The caps could be totally fine, but the caps also could be noisy. So now it's like you're looking at a cap job maybe. And then shipping, that's the first thing. Like, when you buy used from Guitar Center, like, luckily my Les Paul was at my local Guitar Center, but if you're ordering like an amp from somewhere else, the shipping is up there. So it's like, you got to really like factor all those extra prices, because you're thinking like, oh, it's only going to cost this much, and then all of a sudden you might have been better off buying something else. But anyhow, I think I've rambled on enough, and I got to get ready to go, because I got to go to the good old Whole Foods, and I'm going to go to the good old Guitar Center, and then I'm going to come back here and try to get what I need to get done. Next week, I'm going to try to get the video out for the Everything Telly and compare it to the other guitars. So look out for that one, and see you next time, and have a good one.